Every country on Earth has the same basic challenge. How do we decide what to produce, how to produce it, and who gets it? It sounds simple, but think about it. People need food, clothing, homes, and services. But there isn't unlimited stuff. So someone has to decide who makes it, how much should it cost, who gets to buy it, and what happens if there isn't enough to go around. The way a country answers these questions is called its economic system. There are 4 main types, and each one makes different choices about how money, goods, and services are handled. Let's break them down. First, there's the traditional economy. This is the oldest type, found in communities where customs and traditions guide decisions. People might hunt, farm, or fish the same way their ancestors did. There's often little money involved. Goods are traded or shared. You'll find traditional economies in some rural or indigenous communities around the world. For example, the Inuit in parts of northern Canada have traditionally followed a subsistence lifestyle based on fishing, hunting, and sharing resources as a community. These ways of life are deeply connected to culture, land, and knowledge passed down over generations. Next is the command economy. In this system, the government makes all the major decisions. It decides what to produce, how much to make, and how resources are shared. People don't choose jobs freely. Roles are often assigned, and businesses are government-run. This system is designed to meet everyone's basic needs equally, but it can sometimes limit freedom or creativity. Countries like North Korea follow a command economy. In North Korea, the government owns almost all businesses, controls farming and production, and tightly regulates what goods are made and how they're distributed. People are assigned jobs, and there is very little private business or outside trade allowed. Then we have the market economy. This is where private individuals and companies make most decisions. Businesses compete, prices are set by supply and demand, and people can buy or sell what they want. The goal is profit. There's lots of freedom, but that can also mean big gaps between rich and poor. The United States has a mostly market-based economy. In the US, most businesses are privately owned, and people are free to open companies, choose careers, and buy or sell goods with minimal government control. Prices are influenced by competition, and consumers have many choices. But access to services like healthcare or education often depends on personal income. Finally, there's the mixed economy. And most countries today fall somewhere in this category. A mixed economy blends parts of the market system with government control. People can start businesses and buy what they want, but governments still step in to make rules, provide services like education and healthcare, and help those in need. Canada is a good example of a mixed economy. In Canada, you can run your own business or shop freely. But the government also plays a big role in daily life. It funds public schools, provides universal health care, sets minimum wages, and regulates companies to protect workers and the environment. It's a system that tries to balance freedom with fairness. So what's it like to actually live under one of these systems? Well, that's what we're about to find out. Here's your challenge. You and your classmates will take part in an economic simulation, where each group represents one of the 4 systems: traditional, command, market, and mixed. Each group will receive a short guide describing how their system works, what the government does or doesn't do, how jobs and resources are handled, and what kind of freedom or limits they have. Then, your teacher will read out a series of real-world economic events. Things like a sudden shortage of food, a brand new technology is invented, a major natural disaster hits the country, a new health crisis breaks out, a new international trade deal is signed. Each time, all four systems will hear the same event, but your teacher will explain how your group's system would be affected. In the command economy, maybe the government steps in quickly but limits personal choice. In the market economy, maybe there's freedom but also chaos. In the traditional economy, maybe things stay the same because that's how they've always been. And in the mixed economy, maybe there's a mix of both action and choice. Your job is to listen, imagine, and experience what life might feel like under your system. You won't be making choices or tracking progress. You'll simply react, discuss, and try to understand what it's like to live in a system where the rules are very different from what you might be used to. After the simulation, you'll complete a short reflection. What was it like to live in your economic system? What were the strengths and weaknesses you noticed? How would that system affect your daily life, your job, your access to goods, or your freedom? And finally, which system do you think would be most fair or most effective, and why? This isn't about picking a winner. It's about stepping into different worlds, seeing how systems shape everyday life, and thinking critically about how economics affects people all over the globe. Good luck, and get ready to experience 4 very different versions of how the world works.